Today, let's rebalance some cards. So we had a playtesting session on the channel, and we've talked a little bit. I'm gonna say internally. Sounds very proper. We've talked about some of the cards and some of the interactions and what feels lackluster and what doesn't. What I have up right now is an application called Tabletop Creator, and this is how I do all my prototyping. This is how I put everything on the card, so we can see here that it has a bunch of attributes. So we're mainly going to be focusing on the abilities of each card and trying to figure out if they still fit properly. Because if you watched the playtesting session for this new archetype, the bad guys, I think that some cards are not where they should be as opposed to every other card. So today we're going to go over some of the heroes, take a quick pass over them and see who needs to change and kind of note that out, and then who doesn't, as well as the weapons. And then we will take a kind of a small pass through the cards here. But I think for the most part, we're just going to try to rework a little bit. We're going to probably rework Morgan, Balthazar, and Twyla. I think that they have good ideas, but they aren't executed as well as Ayla, Besh, and Frosk. This also goes to their weapons as well. So, yeah, let's get started. You can take a look at how balancing works and how reworks work and how kind of the thought process of why do this versus why do that. So, let's take a look at Ayla. I think Ayla's good as is for the most part. Cards in your tenacity get -1 cost. That's really good for this whole group. If your tenacity total is 2 or less, characters you control get +1 attack. I think it's boring. Like, it's overall kind of a boring effect, but I think it works so far. Because of the preparing mechanics that some of the other characters have and that she has. So I think Ayla's fine right now. Besh, in the same way, once per turn, if your tenacity total is 2 or less, bury cards until you bury a curse. Add that curse to your hand. So he's trying to basically mill or discard cards from the top of the deck until he hits a curse, and then you can get that in hand. So, calm characters already have a really big hand size, and I see that this says 3 and 4. So let me update that. So I think I might like it if he can play a curse for free. But I think that's too powerful for just having your tenacity total be 2 or less, because the curses are very strong. So maybe it's something like, if your tenacity total is 2 or less, bury cards until you bury a curse. Put that curse into play if it's equal to or less than your tenacity total. But that's way too much text. So this might change to just put it into play. I think it's already too strong that way though. So I'm not going to touch Besh yet. I think he's fine. Morgan also, stats need to change. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, summons you control get +1 attack when attacking non-hero cards. So this is a big one that we'll need to take a look at, because I know that I want all friendly heroes, there we go, to have an exhaust ability. That's their trademark. They can't make attacks, but they can still exhaust to perform effects. So Morgan doesn't have an exhaust ability, and so she needs one. And I think it would have something to do with something like play exhaust Morgan, and then is that it? Wow, that might be it. That looks bizarre. I guess I could put once per turn, but that kind of removes the ability to redo it again. So we want exhaust and something like you may play a summon card from your discard pile. Like something like this. And then let's do a really quick editing here to make it look a little bit normal. So you may play a summon card from your discard pile. This is a running idea. I'm not going to keep this yet, but this is kind of, I think, what I want, is that she's always able to play summon cards, so her hand is never dead. She's got a 7 card hand size, so it's not like it's a big deal. But her ability basically will always try to be active because she has a way to do that. So, I may say exhaust, consume 1 card from your hand. You may play a summon card from your discard pile, paying its cost. It's not a free play, so it's just paying its cost. So something like this. Play a summon card from your discard pile. Okay, so this is maybe something that we want to look at, is that she can play summon cards over and over and over again, so her abilities are always active. Seems good. Seems in the right direction. Balthazar needs help. Okay, printed 3 cost or more cards do not count towards your tenacity total. I like this. It makes ultimates really bad because your ultimate is your tenacity total. That's fine. These guys are not meant to ultimate at all. That's the point. And the idea is that his tenacity total ability will always be active. So if it's always active, it should be a core part of him, right? I mean, that's all their abilities. But once per turn action, while your tenacity total is 2 or less, you may look at your opponent's stamina card, the top opponent's stamina card. This is not helpful. It's cool, and I like the idea of it, but because we haven't really solidified the critical hit mechanic, which just for clarity, the mechanics that we're playtesting right now are critical hits, and that's saying whenever you play a card, and you deal damage to an opponent, when they reveal a stamina card, they either trigger its class ability for being revealed, or if the card you played has the same cost as the card that they revealed, that card, it's a critical hit, and that card is discarded without any effect. There's a 10 times better way to say that, but essentially, if you play a card and it matches the card of the cost of the card and your opponent's stamina that it hits, it doesn't do anything. But I think it can be better. I think it can be a much better way to do that. But the idea is that a critical hit should be able to happen on all attacks, even basic attacks, maybe even ultimate attacks. I think that one we don't know. But because there's no way to really track that, a basic attack doesn't have a cost. Ultimate attacks don't have a cost. There's no way for them to do that. So this allows you to look at it, and that's cool, but it doesn't do much. So what do we do with this? Once per turn as an action, while your tenacity total is 2 or less, so this is the cost you're paying. The tenacity total is 2 or less. And now you want an effect that works with his other cards. So here's where we kind of need to reference his other cards right now. Champion's Howl is a 3 cost. Deal 4 damage to an opponent. If your tenacity total is 2 or less, defense cards played during this attack are consumed. So he wants to play 3 cost cards. Last Bastion costs 0. Discard a printed 3 cost or more card from your tenacity. Prevent 3 damage from target attack. So he wants 3 costs in his tenacity. Fangbreaker, deal 5 damage to an enemy. While in tenacity, this card is -2 costs. So this actually is really bad in your tenacity, which is fair. It also only deals 5 damage. It's good for other characters in the archetype, but not him. It really doesn't work for him. It just doesn't do anything when he's out. While this is in your tenacity, it already doesn't count towards your total, so there's no reason to make it worse. This one will need to be done something with. Judgment is a 3 cost enhancement. Affinity, -2 costs, so while you play as Balthazar, it only costs 1. It's really good. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, your active hero gets +1 armor. This is very strong. This is very, very strong. Obligated to Win is a skill. Prepare a character you control. That's fine. If your tenacity total is 2 or less, add 1 face-up 3 cost more card from your tenacity to the top of your stamina cards. Consume this card. So this essentially heals you for 1. I don't love it. I don't like healing. I don't know why I don't like healing. I know I just don't totally love it. But I think this one works from a thematic standpoint. It's like his true grit or his like determination to win, but it's like at the cost. It just works on a thematic level, but not necessarily on a. I mean, it does work. It does work. So let's see. He wants 3 cost cards in his tenacity. Great, let's do something with that. That seems pretty easy. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, you may look at your opponent's top stamina card. Instead of that, I like the idea of it, but I don't think it works. Once per turn, as an action, while your tenacity total is 2 or less, you may play a 3 cost. Is that how I put it? 3 cost card from your hand. You may free play. You may free play a 3 cost card from your hand. Wow, that's good. That's probably too good. What does this allow him to do? So he could it's not awkward, but it is a little awkward because his cards cost 3 or 0 or 2. The best case scenario, let's just look at his cards, right? When you have this ability active, you can play like an attack, like Champion's Howl. You deal 4 damage, and then if your tenacity total is 2 or less, let me make a quick change here, just so I can, because I see it right now. Defense cards cannot be played, or are consumed, excuse me. So he can play this for free, and then he's got 3 cards left in hand, right? Because he's a 4 hand size hero. Wait, nope. 5 hand size hero. Actually, this works super well. Oh my gosh. So he could do that. He could use his ability, play it for free. It doesn't count towards his tenacity total. And then he can play another 3 cost, because if you play a 3 cost, right, you have to play the card and then pay 3. So it's another 4 cards in hand. So it actually works really, really well. It doesn't work super well with these 2 cost cards. It leaves you with a 0 cost in hand. So you could potentially have played like a Last Bastion or You Hesitate or these 0 cost defense cards on the previous turn. Or you could play, you can only play like 0 cost cards basically. Should it just be that you can play 3 cost cards for -1 cost while your tenacity total is 2 or less? What does that mean? That means it doesn't really do much, because if you can play 3 cost cards for 1 less, when you play one, it takes 3 cards out of your hand. It takes the card you played and the other 2 cards that you used to pay for it, meaning you only have 2 cards left in hand, which doesn't really allow you to play much. It allows you to play a 1 cost card, but his kit doesn't have any of those. So what we're doing is we're trying to figure out if his ability works with his kit as is. And the idea is that we want to maximize the hand size usage of each of our heroes such that they don't feel awkward when you play them. And obviously you can have a bunch of other cards, but we can't take those into account because that's up to the player to make that call. But what we can do is make sure that his cards work for him, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now, is from his hand size and his abilities, how do his cards work together to actually be able to play them in the most efficient way possible. So like he could technically have a leftover card in hand to play his rapier from the armory deck, and that would be really good. This essentially allows him 3 cost or more card from each tenacity. This essentially allows him to always have a card in hand, right? If you play a 3 cost card like Fangbreaker for its normal cost, right? Fangbreaker plus 3 more cards is 4 and 4. You have 1 card left over that could be used for a 0 cost card, or it could be used to play the armory card. So I think this is good. It doesn't interact with life as much as I want. Brave characters should be defensive and should interact with, or sorry, not life, stamina cards. And he doesn't really do that. So it makes me feel like I'm missing the mark on the brave aspect of him. So yeah, I'll come back to him probably, but I think this is a good start to where he should be. Maybe it's something like, no, because he's already paying a cost. That's what this is. I'll come back to him, I'm sure, but it's a good ability. Twyla needs help too. So while your tenacity total is 2 or less, song cards you control cannot be attacked. So in theory, this is really good. In theory. Basically what that means is that your songs will stay in play for longer. But Twyla is different than Melody. Melody is the one who kind of showed us and is kind of the foundation of this song cards. Cards with the song trait have a special ability. Not really special, but they work in a certain way. So when we see this song trait at the top of the card, it's always an enhancement, and it always has some passive ability of some kind, and it always has exhaust. Oh, actually, this could be much better, right? This could be exhaust, exhaust, forced interrupt. This would be instead something else. I forgot what it is, but can be something else. When you rest a hero, discard 1 card from your tenacity or discard this card. The idea is that you have to maintain the singing. You have to maintain it during battle. So it costs a tenacity card or itself every time. So that's the idea. And so the longer they stay in play, the more value you get out of it. But I don't think that's what Twyla wants. I think she wants to be a character who wants to play and kind of move songs in and out. She's like a pop star is what we're treating her as, where she's coming out with new hits. She's always looking to bring like the latest trends in with her music. and she wants to wow people, and she doesn't want to rehash the oldies or any of the songs that she's done previously. She wants to create new music all the time and always wow people. So this doesn't really work. It basically says you want your songs to stay and play longer, and that's not what we want. So it should be something like, while your tenacity total is 2 or less, while your tenacity total is 2 or less, Twyla cannot be attacked while you control a song. Maybe that could be easier. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, and you control a song card, Twyla cannot be attacked. So this incentivizes your opponent to destroy your songs, or to KO your songs, and I think that in some way we want to be able to do something with that, like when a song is removed or when it's discarded. But I think it's hard to put another ability on Twilight, like something like this, where it says like, when a song is defeated, do thing, because this really makes it so she wants to not only play songs on her turn, but she not only wants to have songs out on her turn, but she also wants them to be attacked. So to see what I mean, we want to take a look at her mic. So her mic says, on a basic attack, exhaust a song you control. If your tenacity total is 2 or less, the highest printed cost card in each tenacity gets -1 cost this turn. This needs to change as well, but that's a different card. But the idea is that her mic and potentially her can exhaust these songs, so she doesn't have to pay the cost. So you don't necessarily want them to stay in play. It's like they're really, really hitting against each other. But that's the point of Twyla. Is she's a singer, but she functions so quickly against the mechanic because she's just such a diva. And I don't know what to do about that. It's like you want to discard them, but they're good in play, but you want your opponent to deal with them, but you also want them in play on your turn. When a song is defeated, add it to your hand. Right, this, add it to your hand. Something like this. I don't like that she has 2 abilities. I often don't want to give characters multiple abilities. Experienced characters are a little bit of a outlier for this, but you can see that Ayla has 2 abilities, Morgan has 2 abilities, Balthazar has 2 abilities, Twyla has 1. It just feels cluttery, and it feels like we're not really hitting the mark. Like, oh god, these are great. Rush has 1, Katrina technically has 2 because I gave her a second one, Melody has 1, Hilda has 1, Amber has 1, Vincent has 1, and that's good. That's really, really good. They're meant to be straightforward, and these are meant to be a step up the bad guys archetype, but they're not meant to be like like, oh gosh, I gotta remember 2 or 3 different things when I play this character, because that's daunting for 1, someone learning, and 2, for a player trying to play optimally. So I don't like this. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, it has to have that ability. I know I want it to have that ability. And you control a song card, Twyla cannot be attacked. Maybe this just ability is wrong, and we should just marry the 2. It should become something like, and you control a song. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, when a song is defeated. Wow, that's really specific. That's too specific. What if it's something like, while your tenacity total 2 or less, when Twyla, when you are attacked. Oh, while your tenacity total is 2 or less, defense. So it's a defensive ability you can only use when you're being attacked. Return a song you control to your hand. Wow, that's a big cost. That's a lot. That's a lot of things to say. Prevent 2 damage. She's defensive? Is that what it is? No, that's not her. That's not her jam. Twyla, what the heck is going on with you, girl? Okay, I'm gonna leave her for later, because I don't know what to do with her yet. Frosk. I think Frosk is good. I think he's just good as is. While your tenacity total is 2 or less, Frosk gets +2 attack. Super good. Amazing. Love it. Awesome. Okay, his second ability, though, it needs to change. While your tenacity total is 3 or more, after you play a card, discard up to 1 face-up card from your tenacity, then draw 1 card. So, what we were noticing is that oftentimes you could just discard. I think we played it as such, like we played it in such a way that we already were discarding face-up cards for his ability, but I think I forgot to write it on the card. So let's go. Oh, whoops. Let's go here. This is good. So yes, I think that's the only change Frost needs. He's got 2 attack, 4 hand size. While your tenacity total is 3 or more, after you play a card, discard up to 1 face-up card from your tenacity, draw 1 card. Frost is awesome. He's super fun to play. So I think the only real change that he needed to be brought down a step to make sure that we play him how he was meant to be played, and that's by discarding face-up cards. And that the point is that he can reduce your tenacity total so that you can get +2 attack, so you can start hitting a lot and to start doing a bunch of cool stuff with his cards. So that's great. Okay, that was a lot longer than I thought, and we're not even done. Twyla still needs help, and Balthazar we're not 100% on, but I think Morgan, great. Frost had a nice little touch-up. And so these 2 are the real problem areas, and I'll probably go over these a little bit more later on when I have some more free time, but everybody's looking better. And next time I think we'll take a look at the weapons and make sure that those are in the right place. I thought we were going to get through all of them, but that's just not going to happen. So yes, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I would love to hear your thoughts about everything we talked about today. If you think somebody should be stronger or weaker, or you have a cool idea for an ability that I didn't think of, because I'm just one person, let me know in the comments. And if you stuck around for this whole thing, thank you so much for letting me talk super passionately about this game that I love to make. I hope to have you along for the ride. I post videos often, so feel free to subscribe, and let me know that you liked the video and you made it this far. Otherwise, if you didn't make it this far, you got him. You got him. So wherever you are in the world, have a great day, night, morning, weekends, breakfast, lunch, dinner, work day, whatever it is. And I hope that I get to see you in the next video. So see ya.